I work with the Small Firms Association and I will be facilitating your webinar this morning. By way of background, the Champion Green campaign was created to encourage consumer support for local business and to support the SME community in adapting to current challenges and learning from each other. The campaign is organized by the Kilkenny Group in association with Retail Excellence Ireland, Chambers Ireland, and the Small Firms Association, and is generously supported by Visa. In our 30-minute Christmas Business Boost webinar this morning, we will look at timely inspiration to make the most from the festive trade, with a special focus on retail. Our Champion Green expert panel this morning will discuss the perfect shopping experience, from great customer service to amazing value and added value extras. The safer shopping experience, ensuring you're prepared to meet shoppers and staff welfare needs online and in store. Maximizing digital and social media channels to engage and delight. POS, in-store theatre and local marketing for moments of magic. Let me introduce you now to your expert panel this morning. We have Michelle O'Gorman, Head of Retail at the Kilkenny Group, Jean McCabe, founder of ladies fashion store Willow in Ennis and Deputy Chair of Retail Excellence, and Kilkenny-based jewellery designer and entrepreneur Kay Lyng of Kajoux Jewels. So let me start with you, Michelle. Now, after the lockdown has been lifted, how's business been for you? So how's footfall?
Morning, Sven. Yeah, so I suppose at the moment we've a pent-up demand going on across the country. So business is very good, and I suppose it gives us confidence for the next few weeks that business is going to continue, like this. And I think the second week of sale as well will be very good, And God only knows what will happen then. But right now it's very good, so we're really happy with it.
I'm delighted to hear that because it's obviously a very important time for you as a business, but obviously it's an important time for customers and consumers in general. What makes great customer service and how do you go above and beyond for your customers this year?
So I suppose, Sven, I'm going to go back to basics an awful lot, and I'm going to start with kind of, I suppose, greeting the customers and having smiley eyes behind the mask is really important, and doing that consistently as well, asking open-ended questions to the customer, and I suppose trying to find out what the customer is looking for, then giving them choice and being efficient with what we do as well. Making the shopping experience very easy for the customer, making it easier for the customer to navigate the store. Good visual and hygiene standards is very important. Having stock that the customers are looking for. And right now there's a percentage of customers looking for value for money. So having a percentage of your store turned over to, offering the value for money would be very good. Giving customers, I suppose, ready-made gifting ideas. We've been doing this the last number of weeks, but since we've opened, and it's been working really well. So having items boxed up or bowed up and showing customers, what that item can look like as a gift, and just planting the seed with them with that idea. Giving customers alternative ways to shop with us as well is another really good way of showing really good customer experience as well. That they might not feel comfortable coming into us, but offering click and collect, and they can purchase online, they can purchase over the phone, they can purchase through social or through video calls. So giving customers alternatives. Offering to gift wrap is really important, and we do that all year round, and Christmas is no different. Even though we're busier, we still offer that, and we've also, and I know a lot of retailers have extended their returns policy and their exchange policy. So I suppose if your exchange and returns policy is maybe for 2 to 3 weeks normally, maybe consider pushing that out by an extra week or two this time of year to give people a chance to come back in to exchange, or I suppose to think about the gift as well. And it's a good selling tool as well when you are making the sale on the shop floor to call out your returns policy. And I always think, Sven, and I say this when I'm training our teams and our colleagues on the floor, A simple buy and thank you is really important, because remember, that customer could have purchased in any other retail store in the town, but they decided to come into you. So you got to just, you know, be, I suppose, be gratitude and you know, and genuinely thanking them for their business as well, you know.
And tell me, obviously these are very special times for your staff as well. How do you motivate your team? How do you get them on message? And what is, in your opinion, in general, a good salesperson?
Yeah, I suppose this is I'm very passionate about this one. You know, because without our team, we don't really have we don't have a business. And so where do I start? So it's really important, I suppose, to have colleagues that are really interested and genuinely want to be there, you know, and want to be on the shop floor. And I suppose it really goes back, Sven, as well, to our hiring. And you hire for personality. Like, you know, we hire for experience, absolutely, but, you know, personality would definitely a top experience in our sector, because you can train everything else. If you say have a personality, you're a lot of the way there. And also, Sven, as well, common sense. If someone has common sense, you're another big percentage of the way there as well. Remember, people buy people first. So the customer coming through your door is buying your salesperson on the floor first, your colleague on the floor first, and then they buy products second. So that's really important to remember that. We put an awful lot of training into our colleagues as well, Sven, from like company knowledge to operations and process and product knowledge. And whether somebody is with us full-time or part-time, or as a Christmas temp, we still give an adequate amount of training as well, you know. We do a lot of sales training. So that's upselling, link selling, and closing the sale. So you could be on the floor and you could be making the sale, but if you don't ask for the sale to try and close the sale, you might not get the sale. So it's really, I suppose, driving that, and we'll be doing a lot of training on that. What works for us as well, Sven, is we do a lot of on-the-floor coaching and really, I suppose, supporting our colleagues and our teams on the floor. So what I mean by that is that if somebody is doing a really good job, makes a really good sale, or offering really good customer experience on that floor, you're going over once the customer is gone, you're commending them and you're saying, oh, brilliant job, I heard you saying this, you know, I can't believe you sold that, that's amazing. But alternatively, if they're selling a handbag and they're not selling a wallet or a scarf with that, once the customer is gone as well, you're going over, you know, you could have, you know, we could have improved the sale there by offering this, by showing the customer that. So it's, I suppose, it's on the floor coaching, and they're ensuring colleagues are looked after. And then again, this might sound really basic, but like giving our team members and our colleagues the proper breaks, make sure that there's the basics in the canteens for them, you know, and that's all really, really important. And I suppose listening to them as well, listening to our team. They've all the great ideas. The great ideas never comes from me, Sven. It always comes from my team, and asking, and the team on the ground, and asking them their opinions. What do they think? Where should that go? What should go on the window? So that's really important. Getting to know our colleagues, again, sounds simple, but people don't do it. You know, how was your weekend? How was your day off? How's your daughter? She was sick last week. All those small things make a big difference. And we ask for feedback a lot. So if we're rolling out new procedures within the shops or with their colleagues or that, we ask for feedback. Do you think this would work? You know, is there anything we could be doing differently? So we ask for that a lot, and we try and execute what we think is realistic as well. And then we show sympathy, really important to show sympathy as well. And empathy, I suppose, is not sympathy. Empathy is the word I'm looking for there. Really important to show empathy. And I suppose have fun. When you're on the shop floor, and especially at Christmas time, there's no better place to be. A lot of people describe it as like being on a stage, and I describe it as that. You're having, you know, you're on the ground, you're with a lot of different customers, a lot of different colleagues around. So just have fun and give yourselves a little bit of, I suppose, competition between each other as well. That wouldn't hurt. And thanking colleagues as well. At the end of the day, they're putting a day's graft in on the shop floor. It's not easy, it's busy, a lot of physical work as well. So thanking them and being genuine about it as well, Sven, you know, that's important. that
I
answer?
like your optimism there and your enthusiasm, and also you seem to be all ready and are ready for the Christmas season. But one can't help thinking now back of the mind where we still have COVID-19 to deal with, and obviously there's a number of health and safety concerns around this. And I observed in a lot of retailers in their messaging, in their digital messaging, put this first: the health and safety of their team, the health and safety of their customers. Have you any advice on how to manage this really efficiently, how to have a safe retail environment?
Yeah, I suppose like once COVID hit, and you know, March and April, and we were looking, I suppose, of how we can open back up our retail stores. Our strategy was safety first, you know, and everything else will follow. And that strategy has worked for us, and that hasn't changed, even though it's Christmas now, it hasn't changed. And the safety of our teams and our customers are number one. And as I said, everything else will follow. We've implemented like deeper cleaning policies across the stores. We've sanitizing stations, ensure like everyone else. We've perspex at the tills. We've extended opening times. We've vulnerable shopping hours. We've awnings outside some of our stores for when it's raining. And then the other stores, we actually have umbrellas that we hand out, and then when we get them back, we sanitize them, etc., and rotate them. So we have that. We keep an eye on the numbers in the store. That's really important as well, and we try and push it up a few if we feel we can, and if our colleagues and team members are safe, are comfortable with that as well. Everybody is COVID trained, and they were COVID trained post the first lockdown, but we actually did a refresher as well of COVID training last week after the second lockdown. We offer, I suppose, again, a wide range of alternative ways to shop with us, so that would help. So, you know, click and collect, omni-channel, you know, online, tele-sales over the phone, selling through videos. So we offer all that as well. And then it's really important, Sven, to communicate everything that you're doing out to your customer, so your customer feels really comfortable in your store. Like I was in a store, I was visiting our Kajoux store yesterday, and a lady was trying on a jumper, and she didn't end up taking it, and one of our colleagues took it and steamed it down before it went back onto the floor. And the customer turned around and said, "That is brilliant to see that. I'm so comfortable shopping in the store because I know you're taking it seriously." And I suppose we hear comments like that a lot. And I suppose then when I hear comments like that, I know, I suppose, that we're doing our best. But I suppose the other thing then is we're always listening. And if customers can give us tips or hints on how we can make things better, then we'd listen and we'd execute and action those as well, you know. But the one point I would say is make sure you communicate out all of your measures to your customers. Let them know all the great work that you're doing in this space.
Thank you so much. Maybe now to bring in Eugene, the owner of Willow.ie. Eugene, how has business been for you since the reopening, or even in the build up to reopening the businesses?
Yeah, like Michelle had said, it's been there's definitely been a pent-up demand, and people are definitely coming out in force to support local and shop small and shop Irish, which is great to see. We experienced significant trade online while the stores were closed as well. So it was a rush, panic to get the stores open after Green Friday, but it's been great. It's been good. It's been very manageable. We haven't had any issues around crowd control or managing people. People have been patient to wait, and they're very much so comfortable and aware navigating the store on the safety measures that we put in place, as Michelle mentioned, having transparency and making sure customers can see what you're doing, and kind of practical things that we were doing in store, along with all the general other things like steaming and so forth, is we actually set an alarm clock on our iPads to go off every 30 minutes. And as that alarm went off, we would automatically sanitize all the touch points. So counters, handrails, stairs, and it just made the customer see the alarm went off and see there was action each and every time. So just showing those measures just reassures them that it's a really safe place to shop. And retail has proven to be a really safe place to shop. There's been very little cases of COVID traced back to retail.
So that's the health and safety experience. Just for the general Christmas shopping experience, what do you do to create an attractive and enjoyable experience, and what can other retailers learn from what you do?
I guess the challenge is now there's a barrier between you and the customer, between Perspex screens and between, face masks. So as Michelle said, like smiling with your eyes, learning to perfect that is really important. Actually saying the word hello, where we might be used to just greeting somebody with a smile before. Finding ways to interact with them that is not encompassing on their space, but that you're still able to help them and, show them items where it's laying them out on the table for them to see and to touch and feel and to handle. Things like, for us, the training of staff, for example, is when they go behind the counter and the Perspex screen's in place, they drop their mask, because then the smile becomes the golden moment where you can actually, thank them and they can see that you're delighted that you're, to be able to help them and that they're shopping with you. So small little tips like that, we have the team doing just to kind of create those little golden moments to really enhance the experience. And I think the fact people have been locked down for so long, they're craving that social interaction more than ever. And I think as retailers, it's our job to make sure that we're giving them that and making the connection, because it's so valuable at the moment. And if there's any way in your business that you can do that, I think it's really important. Things like, you might have been dealing with a customer upstairs and they're buying a dress to go to a Christmas party or dinner out. A handwritten note on the receipt when you fold it up in the bag and leave it in their bag, when they get home and see that, Michelle, enjoy your night out. They're little golden moments that cost nothing, but just have that little bit extra effort.
And tell me, obviously a very busy time, and we really need to maximize as retailers our income on an operational level, on cross-selling products and effective merchandising and replenishing stocks. Have you got any tips for our listeners this morning?
So obviously, like perfect partners is, something that we do. You're selling the bag with the wallet and encouraging that sale. We would we categorized our customers into, the gentleman that comes in that doesn't know what he's buying, the mother that's buying for her daughter or her sister, the sister that's buying for her mom, and we'd categorize and come up with 5 ideal gifts to those people, so that our staff are trained and can work through those top 5. And you're kind of looking at what products have got a greater margin, what have you got greater volume on, and you're encouraging your team to for them, those products be their first port of call when they're looking to sell to the mom. So they're never running out of an idea. They have something else to fall back on each time if the first product isn't the one that they're going to go for. Great, merchandising and display is so important, especially now when it's much harder to sell. You're not getting to help the customer out in that intimate way that you used to before. So making sure that your displays talk to your customers and make it really easy for them to shop, and that you're seeing the ideal scenario. You've got the coat and you've got the scarf, or you've got, as you said, the handbag and the wallet, and that you're bundling them up. Michelle mentioned a good point about wrapping, so they can see the finished product. We all want to hand over the box that's beautifully wrapped. That's probably half the gift, and what's inside is the second part of it. So making it really visual for the customer that entices them, that they want to pick up those items and walk out the door with them. Other little things that we've done around the store just to help enhance the customer experience have been kind of positive messaging. So we all know what 2020 has been like, and we have these little cards that clip onto the rails that just dotted around every so often, that, it's like 2021 is on its way, and small little things like that will resonate and maybe make the customer smile, all enhancing the experience without encroaching on anyone's space or making them feel, I suppose uncomfortable. Just ways like that. I suppose storytelling, don't be afraid to tell your story about your brand and what you're doing, all the basics in retail that Irish retailers are so good at doing anyway.
I know, Eugene, you're a real champion for Shop Local, and you're very vocal online and offline. Tell us more about your belief in the power of small business, and particularly in these tougher trading times.
Well, I guess I'm based here in Ennis, and 90% of the retail here are small SMEs, where we were really unique offering because of that. It's not like your normal high street that you see a lot of like larger, maybe international stores. But Sven, I don't need to tell you, you know how important the SME sector is to the economy. It's the largest employer in the country. We're the backbone of every community, town, village, from the top to the bottom of Ireland. We employ more than anybody else, and retail does. So like SMEs are, I suppose, if the recovery of after COVID is going to be solely based on the recovery of the SME sector. So I think it's more important now than ever that the supports are there for SMEs first and foremost, because they will dictate how everybody else recovers. And I think, you know, from a government level, you know, yourself, Retail Excellence as well, have been doing great work and lobbying for more supports for retailers, and especially coming into January, I think that's when you could see that pressure could be applied to a lot of smaller businesses. I spoke to somebody yesterday in Grant Thornton, and they reckoned for themselves it'll be the second half of the year going into the third and fourth quarter that you will see the real impact of COVID on SMEs. And I think for small businesses, it's not even about survival, it's whether you have the energy to keep fighting. That's the difference. When you're self-employed, it's having that energy and drive to keep reinventing yourself. And I would hope that the SME sector will still have that energy to drive on the Irish economy. And I've no doubt they will, but it'll all be dependent on what kind of support there come from government. And that's a key piece, especially around the likes of rent and rates as we face into January, and those issues around legacy debt from rents during the last 2 lockdowns hasn't been tackled with, and it's something that really needs to be tackled with, because it is solvable. REI were calling for an fair arbitration process to be put in place, and that would allow it to be much more transparent in negotiation with landlords, and that doesn't cost money. It's not a legal issue, it's actually just something that the government need to put in place, and we'll have to keep banging the table that they do.
I think that's nearly a topic for another webinar, Jean, that we can organise then in the new year. And once we have Christmas, a successful Christmas out of the way, thank you for this for now. And Kay of Kajoux Jewels, maybe just tell us a bit more about your business and how you do business online and offline.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, everyone. So my business is Kajoux Jewels, and it's handmade jewellery that's designed and made here in my studio in County Kilkenny. So I would wholesale to shops around the country, including the Kilkenny shop. So I'm in a good few of those, and launched into Nassau Street, which was a big moment for my business just before Dublin went into lockdown. But nonetheless, it was a great day for me. So I also have a website, and so I can connect with my customers directly through that as well. So everything is designed and handmade here in County Kilkenny, like I said.
And tell me, obviously, online and digital channels are important in general, but obviously important for your business as well. And have you got any advice for quick wins in this area of e-commerce, and how can small retailers make best use of social media to showcase their offering?
Yeah, I think obviously this year has been so difficult, and so many businesses have been so brave in getting online quickly, and it's a daunting reality, I think, if you are not familiar with that world. So I think, you know, you can get your website up and running pretty quickly, and sometimes the sales come quickly after that, and sometimes they don't. It takes a little bit longer for that funnel to fill up. But I think there are quick wins that you can do to make sure that, you know, you're maximizing the asset that you do have, because having a website is such a fantastic asset to a business. It's an open catalogue, it's live, it's evolving every day. You have the ability to use it and change it as you see fit. So it's definitely something to, you know, try and consistently put the time and attention into. So I think things like doing speed tests, and if you see there's any images lagging, just reduce the size, try and bring them all under 1 MB. It'll make such a big difference to the shopping experience for the consumer. I think if you have an offer on site, it's a good hook that you can then promote through your social media channels. And I'm not talking about like endless codes and discounting and stuff like that, just maybe one bundle or one offer that will draw somebody onto your website. They'll get to know you, your website, they'll go and read the frequently asked questions, the about section. And I suppose it's really important to have those updated, because I think, like Jean and Michelle have said, you know, the personal touch is so important. They're buying into you, they're buying into your brand. So make sure you have, you know, a lovely about you or about the brand section. On the frequently asked questions, have your shipping information updated, have your returns policy updated and clear. Maybe ask somebody who isn't involved with your business to read through, make sure it makes sense, that it sounds fair. And then when it comes to things like, you know, order fulfillment, I think one thing that's really important is the personalization. So again, very similar to what Michelle and Jean were saying, but bringing it online, you know, write a note, say thank you. If you're looking for a sale, ask for the sale, ask for it online, show people what you want them to do. You want them to buy your products. So go onto your social channels and ask for that and show them how they can do that. I think that's really important. And again, you know, it's been a big year of transition for so many companies. So I think perfection is probably your enemy in terms of branding. I wouldn't be waiting to have a branded everything going out the door. Put them in the envelopes that will work. Put them in the boxes that will get them there safely. Don't worry about having branding. Nobody's expecting you to be Amazon overnight, but, you know, just try your best. And you can do a lot with a little. You know, you can reuse packaging that's come from your own orders online, or that's come from your own suppliers, but try and make it charming. Put a note in there, throw a chocolate rose in there or something, you know, just something that will give, like Jean said, that golden moment, that bring that smile to their face when they open the package, and it'll make them remember you. Because again, we're building not just for now, but for next year and what, you know, whatever is to come. And you have this fantastic asset, which is your website. So try and maximize that, I think. There are a couple of plugins that are very easy to install and use, the notification bars across the top of your website. So you can put your shipping information on there. I think one hook that's really helpful is if you can afford to offer free post and packaging with OnPost, that's probably the most cost-effective way to do it, then try that. But I mean, if it doesn't work financially, then, you know, don't feel like you have to. But if you're going to do that, put it front and center. Make sure that it's the first thing that somebody sees and that it follows them all the way around the website or around your social media. And then it sounds, again, basic, but if you have lovely packaging, make sure that people can see it, put it on your front page, put it on your social media, just keep putting it out there, because again, similar to the shop experience, you want it front and center. You want somebody to see what they're buying and what they're going to get for their money, because I think nothing can be assumed. You can't assume somebody online can see, you know, what the finished product will look like. You need to show it to them.
And tell me, this is a Champion Green webinar. We've just 2 weeks ago we had Green Friday weekend and Small Business Saturday. Do you think consumers have bought into the idea of shopping local, buying Irish, and how can we continue to encourage shoppers to champion green?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's never been such a strong desire amongst Irish people to support and champion local. I think everybody can feel it in all sorts of businesses. So I think it's really important for small and medium businesses to capture this moment and to maximize it, because, you know, January and February will be quiet for us all. There's no doubt about it. So I think the time is now. So I would be using the hashtags. I would be looking at the local pages on Facebook and maximizing those. Any sort of organizations or hashtags that you can maximize. I think the time is now, and I think it's really important to get part of this movement and try and, you know, stay involved with the movement. And I think as well, you know, there are everybody has a social channel, and there's very easy ways to link in with those. Just use the hashtags. I think one thing that is really showing good results is reels, and I know they look tricky to do, but they're not actually that hard once you practice them a little bit. But the engagement and reach that you're getting on a reel, so if you were to take, say, for example, a reel of your process or behind the scenes or with your team or something to that effect, use the hashtags, and I think you would be really surprised at the results that you would get from something very simple, very cost effective. And again, I think when it comes to social media, perfection is your enemy. I would just do it and go with it and embrace it and enjoy it.
I know it's a bit of advanced planning, and we all want to maximize the next 2.5 weeks. But Michelle, Jean, and Kay, any advice for what's going to happen after Christmas, as in terms of giving it another sales push? Christmas sale, the New Year sale is on. Any advice to all of those that obviously have Christmas on their mind, want to be successful, but want to plan for after? Michelle, what are you planning for after Christmas?
Yeah, I think the first few months of next year could be a little difficult, could be quite difficult. So I think having, as I mentioned earlier, value for money, and kind of, I suppose, newer stock coming in as well, and talking about that, and letting people know about that. And I suppose watching your costs as well, Sven, and look at your opening times, look at your Sunday opening times, that type of thing, see where you could bring your costs back. And I think really driving the social media, letting people know what's happening in your store, what you're doing, your new brands that are landing, products, that type of thing, so all of that. And I suppose we're looking at a few campaigns as well. We've a campaign in January, a Revive. It's all about health and well-being, and then we've something coming up in February and March. So I suppose every month there's something a bit different as well, to tell customers.
And Jean, what are you going to do on the 29th of December?
Have a lie in. Yeah, I would be the same as Michelle. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw ourselves possibly locked down again the end of January. And we're in fashion, so our product dates so quickly. So for us, we'll be looking to clear it out as fast as we can come in January, and keeping it fresh and new all the time, because we're all so much more active on social media and a lot more people are seeing our product more regularly. It's also dating our product much more quickly. So we're constantly having to kind of look fresh and reinventing yourself. So if you're buying on short order, buy more little with variety, so that you're constantly look like you're new and fresh. I think social media and online would be a big part of what January and February will look like for next year, and we'd be the same. Our focus would be kind of online first and shop second for the start of next year.
And tell me about UK. Have you got any plans? Any big sales drive for the new year?
Well, for the new year, I suppose for me, it's all about bringing out new collections. So I'll be definitely working hard on that, and just being really analytical with, what's selling, what's working, and trying to do more of that. And then obviously just really watching the costs. And I think as well, if we are in lockdown, the thing to remember is that you do have a captive audience on your social media. So, you can continue to try and drive sales that way, because people are at home and bored, and, thinking about when they do get out, what do they want? So
maybe because we're coming to the end of our webinar, just a last question for the three of you. We've just spoken about how we're going to look after our customers, how their health and well-being is important to us, how we are looking after our staff, and again, health and well-being really important for them, and we really mind them. But any advice from you guys how you look after yourselves? Because obviously, if the owner, if the main people in the business are not looking after themselves, so there's a risk of it all falling apart. Any words of wisdom, any nuggets you are willing to share how you look after your own physical, but also mental well-being, which is so important? Michelle, do you want to start?
I'm going to think there, Sven. Well, I suppose the thing for me is I go to the gym 4 times a week, so I do that, and even if it's mental at the moment, I still get my sessions in, even at home. I do them in the kitchen. So for me, that's really important, and just giving myself windows of downtime, so even if it's a Sunday or that, and I'm spending with my son, and just those windows of downtime in an hour in the evening before he goes to bed with him, they're kind of precious times to me, and I can switch off, and then once you have a window of downtime, you're ready to rock it again, and go back up, but you just need to give yourself little windows. That works for me.
What about Eugene?
I smile because I'm probably not the best at doing it, but I do find when I'm at that point where I'm not productive and I'm kind of feeling a little bit of burnout, I'll just leave the office early that day and go for a walk on the beach and clear my head and have a nice coffee, and those 2 or 3 hours to yourself with no agenda and nowhere to be and nothing to do, I find kind of gives me enough headspace to kind of get back on the horse again. But yeah, that would probably be, that would be my little window. I know when I'm at my point, I need to just get out, and I'm of no use to anyone. I just disappear then for a day or half a day.
And finally, UK.
Yeah, same as that. Just try and get out, walk the dog or play with the kids. My studio is in my house here, so I'm constantly interrupted. So sometimes it's a very welcome interruption, but I think it is important to carve out, you know, 3 or 4 hours at the very least at the weekends that you're just not doing anything related to your business, and you put the phone down and just have, you know, a complete break. I think it's really important, and I think you do feel the mental charge then when you get back to it. I think it's really important. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for your time and expertise this morning. And this is all that we have time for now on this month's Champion Green. To all of you on the panel, have a very successful Christmas. Hopefully you will get a bit of time off then over the Christmas days. The best of luck with your business ventures then in the new year. The same then to you, all of our listeners. Have a really successful Christmas period. Get some downtime, look after yourselves and your family, and start afresh then in the new year. Champion Green will be there for you. Please check out the Champion Green website for advice, inspiration, updates, and consumer marketing support. Thank you everyone from the Champion Green team. Have a great Christmas and see you again soon in the new year. All the best. Thank you.